Hey there folks, Wrel here. Today I wanted to talk about, in my opinion, one of the most important and sorely lacking elements in PlanetSide 2, and it's a question that drives the core of the game and it really needs to be answered before we can expect the game to live up to its potential. That question is, why do we fight? This video is going to address some of the current issues, talk a bit about the past, and hopefully we'll be able to have a nice little discussion about it in the comments section. So why we fight means a lot of things to a lot of different people because there are a few archetypes of players, and we have talked about this in the past. If you have an interest, then feel free to take a look at that video. But ultimately, we want to come up with solutions that cater to each player archetype, or at least as many as we can. Keeping that in mind, when I say why we fight, we're not talking about a feature, I'm talking about a reason. Owning territory, for example, why does it have any meaning at all? To most players it doesn't, it's just a different place to fight. Territory is something that flip-flops so quickly, something that you have no real attachment to, and feeds into a mechanism that ultimately has the same lack of meaning, which is continent locking. Why would you care about locking down a continent in the first place? What do you get out of it? For some people it's being able to remove their least favorite continent from play. For other people it's the inability to fight on your favorite continent. And you do get a benefit for owning a continent, but it's not something that you pursue. It's not a driving motivator for your play. Most of the time you just log in and say, oh, half off vehicles, that's kinda neat. This is the same reason why, as much as we romanticize the concept, intercontinental lattice won't help the game. It's personal opinion, but I'm actually of the mind that it would kill the game because it'd split up the player base so heavily. Especially for the smaller, not Emerald servers, you'd almost always be fighting just one faction on one front, which leads to less diversity in already limited options you have for fights to begin with. Maybe it would have been alright 2 years ago, but nowadays it'd just be a nail in the coffin. Those of you who have been playing the game for a long time now will remember the World Domination series, and WDS was Sony's attempt at providing players with a motivator, a reason to fight, instead of just letting them fight. And during the second preseason, the way that they did that was to provide players with a personal reward by contributing to a faction-based objective. However, the way you accomplished it was severely out of line with the way that the game was meant to be played. In the second preseason, how it worked was that you wanted to gather as many points as you could, because those points would move you toward a personal goal. At however many points, you'd be able to get a camo or an experience booster or a gold NS7 PDW or something like that as a reward. And for free players in particular, this was basically free stuff that you normally would not be able to get, so naturally it was really sought after. You'd have points that would accumulate on a base over time, and then when you took the base you'd get all the points from it and it would reset the number of points the base had. So the intention was to make taking the more difficult bases more rewarding, but what actually happened was that people would just roll around in a Zerg collecting points via Ghost Cap, because that was the quickest way to get points. There was very little incentive for players to defend a base because they didn't get points from it, so they didn't even bother. Later on into that season, the point values for defending and attacking got swapped, which encouraged fighting more, but it was still a mess. And all of this was because the motivator was strong enough to influence player behavior to such a degree that it basically ruined the game for everybody at the time. A few of the motivators that currently exist are alerts, stats, and directives. Alerts are a good motivator, for outfits in particular, because it creates a very tangible start and finish where they can feel the weight of their actions. At the end of an alert, they can look back and say, we were the ones that got that last 3%, and we were the ones that won the alert. And that feels good because the match comes to a resolution, you feel as if you've accomplished something, and you won't mind logging out after that point. It's a much different experience from just wandering around doing things until you log off. But even then, that's only a motivator to certain people. Stats are another example of a very popular motivator within certain circles, like maintaining high kills per minute or high headshot ratio. It's really easy to tell if you're having a good session or not if you yourself are improving over the last session, as well as compare yourself to others. That's a driving force for more competitive players. Directives are another one because you always feel as if you're progressing toward a goal, and there's a carrot at the end of it all for you. All of these motivators influence how you play the game, and indirectly affects how other people will play the game. Alerts being territory control, stats being whatever is going to give you the best stats or the best fights for your session, and directives being whatever is going to give you the best time pursuing those directives. So the balance you want when searching for an answer to why we fight is one that's strong enough of a motivator, but is also done in such a way that it doesn't ruin the game for everybody else. One of the things that I would like to see to increase the value of continent locking in particular is to basically turn the continent into a leaderboard at the end of it all. So maybe when a continent locks, you show the outfit with the most bases claimed, you show the outfit with the longest base ownership, the highest number of VP gens created, VP gens destroyed, most cordium harvest, highest outfit score. And then you also throw in personal objectives like the player with the highest score, the player with the highest number of objectives captured, bases captured, bases defended, vehicle kills, most revives, most repairs, etc., etc. And again, this doesn't appeal to all players. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to appeal to the outfits and the individuals who strive for that sort of thing. But it also has a trickle-down effect of increasing awareness of certain individuals and certain outfits to all players, which helps you build a sense of connection as a community or a server. Another more tangible answer to why we fight can be thought of on an outfit level in the form of outfit directives. So the members of your outfit all contribute to a certain goal, and at the end of it all, it gives everyone in that outfit something that they can be proud of, like, maybe an outfit camo, or outfits showing your logos on the map, or unlocking an outfit standard that you can place on the ground or carry around with you. Those are just examples, but the point is to create a community goal, which is something that's lacking right now. But the reason that it's lacking is because it becomes more difficult to pull off the larger the gap is between player and objective. For example, we did talk about World Domination Series Preseason 2, but before that, there was Preseason 1. And during Preseason 1, most people didn't care or realize that it existed in the first place. It was a faction-wide goal for all of the servers combined of who could hold the most territory. But what actually ended up happening is that the goal was so disconnected from the player and the game that it just became background noise. I think there were some rewards for the winning faction at the end of it all, but unless you see that on a personal level, or unless it's right in front of you at a smaller community level, there's just no connection. So that being said, the question that I would like to ask is, why do we fight? How do you motivate players to play instead of just letting them play? In particular, how do you motivate them to play the game as it was envisioned? That's a fun little question that you can feel free to explore in the comment section below. But if this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and to be clear, some of these suggestions we have already talked about among the team, but more feedback is good feedback, so let me know what's on your mind. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.
Enemy medic spotted. Visual on hostile engineer. Visual on hostile